Thank you very much, my brother Mac. How's everybody doing this afternoon? So we're gonna rock and roll. I appreciate Mac and Detroit Black Tech, Jessica, and the crew for putting this thing together. I think that it's very important, and one of the things that Brandon touched on is getting in the game and just being in the game, and that's one of those things that's like super important from us from a perspective of cryptocurrency, right? This is a new asset class in which, hold on a second. This is a new asset class in which we're at the infancy of cryptocurrency. So it's kind of one of those things that we all need to be involved in. And as Max said, I am a engineer by trade. My background is civil engineering, and that's kind of like my training. But I've been an entrepreneur, for since day one. And currently, I am a commercial real estate agent, as well as a developer, entrepreneur, investor. In addition to that, I do events and promotions. So I kind of have my hands in a lot of things just because I like to do what I like to do. And I think that for us to be able to be, from a financial perspective, in a position to be able to do what you want to do is kind of like what the goal is for everyone and what we're trying to do. So this cryptocurrency might be an avenue for that if you're playing the long game. And one of the things that Mac talked about, right? So we're gonna discuss cryptocurrency from a different perspective, probably than you guys are accustomed to. Not really sure what level of understanding everyone is on the call, and sometimes I make assumptions that everyone is a crypto guru, like Mac and Brandon. Individuals that are part of this, and Brian, as an example, he's going to touch on some things. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about was intentionality, right? So it wasn't by chance that, like, me and Mac have known each other, for years and years, from being entrepreneurs and business folks, in the city, kind of coming up together. And that's 20, 25 years. But I intentionally wanted to get into the tech space, right? So I was intentional in cultivating and nurturing my relationship with Mac and Brian and those guys, because I wanted to be on the forefront and cutting edge. And I kind of saw from a entrepreneur perspective, like kind of like where culture was going and where business was going. And I mean, everything was leading towards tech. So I was intentional in kind of deep diving and making sure that I kept, these individuals close to me so that I would be able to really understand, what was happening in what was happening in technology, right? So in addition to that, you have to have a philosophy in analyzing and selecting your coins. So what's your ethos? Like, are you a short-term player? Are you a long-term player? For me, I'm not a day trader, right? And I want to preface, everyone says, hey, I'm not a financial advisor. And I'm probably just going to say that one time. So I'm going to have a discussion about my ideology and my philosophy and my ethos as it relates to trading, and not when I say trading, but investing, because I really don't do a lot of trading and most of my stuff is just investment. One of the things you have to think about is that I'm a practitioner, right? So I'm in the game and I'm learning as you go along, because this stuff is ever changing and it's always going to be new stuff that pops up. Anybody that tells you that they're a master at all crypto, you need to walk away from them immediately, because there's so much crypto out here. There's so many things going on right now with blockchain technology that no one can master everything. I will say, before you start to invest your money, you need to put the hours in as it relates to the research, right? So you need to have conversations with people that are doing it, as well as search the internet, YouTube, Google, like all of those references and resources that you have to really get a good understanding. Um, Asset classes, right? So cash, equities, which is stocks and bonds, fixed income, government bonds, real estate, commodities. All of those things have been in existence for, I'm gonna say 100 plus years, some of them 300 years, right? Cryptocurrency is a new asset class that has been around, let's say, I like to say 10 years, even though, Bitcoin hit the scene in 2008, 2009. But if you, for those of us that have been really paying attention to crypto, it kind of just became an asset class in the last like 3 years, right? Previous to that, you had individuals like Jamie Dimon, CEO of Chase, saying that crypto was fool's gold. This was a Ponzi scheme. All of your major industries, financial institutions were, pretty much crapping on cryptocurrency. And this was, like I said, this was 3 years ago, and obviously they've all done a 180, done an about face. Now you have hedge funds, you have financial institutions all getting into crypto, right? So it's been a 180, and crypto is really in its infancy stages, right? So even though individuals think that because they missed Bitcoin at 10 cents or 30 cents or $1 or even $400, with it now being, fluctuating between 45 and 52,000, over the last couple of months, it's kind of ebbing and flowing, but you're still early in the game, right? So that's one of the key things that we want to talk about. And I'm going to go through, a couple case studies. And like I said, I'm a practitioner. We have some very interesting stories, as we've been on this quest for knowledge in this arena. Everyone is very familiar with Bitcoin. We have, analyzing a coin, we have Ethereum, and Ethereum is probably, second to Bitcoin in popularity. And the use of it is really different because like Bitcoin is the grandfather of the blockchain. And really what individuals are using this right now is a storage of wealth and money, right? Ethereum has more functionality. This blockchain kind of introduced the smart contract. And, for individuals that are familiar or aren't familiar with the smart contract, it's pretty just an agreement. And with that smart contract or agreement, this is going to revolutionize everything. So I'm give you an example. As we look at, let's say something simple like a house or a car title. You own that house or you own that car. You can have an asset like a house that is on the blockchain, and it's the title for this house is on the blockchain, and every time that house is sold, that blockchain is updated, right? So the ledger is updated, and you can kind of see who owned the house, who currently owns the house, and when you sell the house, you know that you have like kind of like ownership of the house. So really the blockchain technology is really all about a ledger and a decentralized ledger. And that's what makes with Bitcoin so fantastic, is that you have, thousands of individuals that are holding a ledger, right? The same ledger. And when you think about banking as an example, your bank is the only one that holds your ledger. So imagine if someone hacked into Chase Bank and corrupted your ledger. Only information that you have typically is from the bank. And if you had 50,000 in the bank and the bank said, hey, we got hacked and everything was corrupted, you only have 20,000 in the bank. How do you dispute that? Because they keep your ledger. That's something that, doesn't happen on a distributed ledger, a decentralized ledger, because thousands of individuals have the same ledger and you can't really hack thousands of, computers at a time. So kind of looking at these various coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana. The Cardano and Solana are competitors of Ethereum, right? So one of the things that Brandon had touched on is kind of like practicality, like what is the use case of these coins? And that's one of the things, like I'm a very analytical individual. One of the examples, XRP, Ripple, and why we really looked into Ripple and why we like Ripple was because it provided a solution for banking, right? So and most individuals, and this is mainly for international money transfer. It's a funny saying that folks say that if I wanted to wire some money to Europe right now, let's say $100,000 cash, it'd be more proficient for me to get on a plane and take my suitcase with $100,000, fly over to Europe, right, and drop it off to whoever I dropped it off to. Because sometimes in that international banking process, it might take 30 days in order for a transaction to settle, right? So that's one of the fantastic things about XRP. And it's really a utility in which you would be able to get that money over to whatever destination from an international perspective in a matter of minutes, and it'll settle in a matter of minutes, as opposed to waiting for 30 days for a transaction to settle, which is pretty ludicrous. HNT, Helium, this is HNT is the coin for the blockchain Helium. And this is something that we've really kind of dove into. It's relatively new, but it's really hot on the market. And it is a Internet of Things. I like to compare it to a system, a cellular system. So, individuals that are familiar with, T-Mobile or Verizon, they spend millions and millions of dollars on setting up cellular towers, like all throughout cities and across the country, right? What HNT, what Helium has done is that they've created this web of power, like this web of coverage powered by individuals, by people. So, you get a helium miner, you put it up in your house, and now you're part of that. You're part of that coverage. So, sorry about that. So you're part of that. So you become a part of the cellular coverage, and their goal is to blanket the United States with coverage for helium. Right now they're doing the Internet of Things, like bird bikes and dog trackers and things like that. There have been conversations, and they've got a lot of investments, and really kind of jumping into the 5G as well, and possibly cellular. So that's something to look at. And then you have your meme coins like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, and those are exactly that. Meme coins. They call them meme coins because they really don't have any utility. They really don't have any purpose. They're just kind of popular, and people are trading them. So those are some of the coins out there. And I am a practitioner, and I am all about utility and what the use case is. So I don't invest in anything that doesn't have a practical use, in society right now. And I'm not into the meme, and some folks kind of like, I'm not a day trader either. So I'm not I don't have time to look at computer screens all day long to try to figure out, what's ebbing and flowing, and when should I buy and when should I sell. So I'm into kind of things that, from a utility standpoint, that I think is going to have long-term benefits to society. Invest in them and sit on them and wait for it to happen. So coinmarketcap.com is a very good source of information. You can kind of look at wallets, you can look at coins, you can this is an example of like the top 10 to see what's most popular, see what's trading, as well as kind of like what the volume is, what the current price is, and what the market cap is. So that's a good resource for coins, as you're looking at coins and trying to figure out, all right, what are people doing out here, and what exactly is moving within the culture, and this will kind of give you an example of that, and you can kind of take a look at this, and as I said, coinmarketcap.com to give you a lot of information. So those are most of the professionals in here already know about it, but if you're a novice, just to pay attention to kind of as you start to study and learn to see what's going on in the market. Exchanges. So we're talking about exchanges, centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges. Some of the most popular, Coinbase, of course, I think Robinhood is getting into the crypto space, but they only have a few coins on that. Coinbase is one of the most popular. So my recommendation, if you're just getting into cryptocurrency, that you open up a Coinbase account, because that'll kind of get your feet wet. And as you start to make purchases on various coins, you'll kind of get the flow. And then, from there, you might want to jump into a Binance.us wallet. With that, they have a lot of the alternative coins, which is, they call them altcoins, but alternative coins, so meaning that they're not like the most popular coins. But there's a lot of good stuff on there. Just like we talked about, Helium, HNT is on Binance, but it's not on Coinbase, because like I said, Coinbase mainly has some of the most popular cryptocurrencies on it, like the Ethereum and the Bitcoin, etc. So those are Kraken, as well as another one you can check into for altcoins. Decentralized kind of wallets, or exchanges like Uniswap, SushiSwap, BISC. Those are a little bit more complicated. So that when it says decentralized, meaning that it's not connected. And so it's kind of like a individual wallet, and we'll talk about kind of like cold wallets later on. But those are decentralized exchanges in which you kind of need to have a little bit more knowledge in the area of crypto to be able to move money around, and it's not as user friendly as your centralized exchanges. Crypto wallets, cold versus hot. Hot meaning it's connected to the network. So you're on the internet, you're 9 times out of 10, like with your Coinbase, you don't actually own your coins yourself, like the exchange holds your coins. In a cold wallet, you like Ledger, Trezor, those are it's kind of like a safety deposit box, right? So you would be able to pull your coins in, put into your cold wallet. It's not connected to the internet. Think of it as a thumb drive, right? So think of it as a thumb drive. So you transfer your coins into your cold wallet, and then you take your cold wallet and you put it into your safe or put it into your drawer, whatever the case might be. You have a key in which you'll be able to transfer or move your coins through that key. All coins have unique identifiers, which is the key, and it's the safest, right? So you're not susceptible to hacking, and we've heard millions of stories about various exchanges being hacked and all of the money or Bitcoin being stolen. Those things happen quite often because of the lack of security, or hackers are just really good. With a cold wallet, you don't necessarily have to worry about that, but the functionality of it is very difficult. So it's not like as easy a transaction, user friendly, like your Coinbase, and you really have to go through the process of really understanding how to move your coins around and get some familiarity with cryptocurrency in the process. So as we jump into kind of like a couple of case studies, like I said, from a practitioner standpoint, I'm a real estate guy as well as an investor. Ethereum VFriends, which is a NFT on Ethereum, XRP, which is Ripple used for banking, and HNT, which is a coin off of Helium. So I always like to give stories. So Ethereum VFriends, May 16, 2021, right? This guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, who is someone I've been following for quite some time, probably the last, 2 or 3 years. He is a investor as well as a marketing guru. Social media marketing is kind of what his claim to fame is, as well as he's a personality. So he was a guy that, started with the camera, following him around and kind of doing a daily video, daily vlog of what he was doing during the day. But I use this as an example because me being a fan of his, he created these NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens. And what the NFTs are exactly that. They're non-fungible tokens, which are minted on a blockchain. And I guess folks that let me know if I kind of start talking a little bit too techie. But it's so with these NFTs, he put these NFTs out on May 16, 2021. The floor for the NFTs, meaning at the lowest price that you could purchase, which was one of these like core, you see the bumblebee, the core bumblebees, was a half of ETH. ETH is Ethereum, right? And at that time, one Ethereum was ranging between $3,900 and $4,100. So during that time frame, I had to, I didn't have a lot of Ethereum at that moment. Probably had, I definitely had less than half a coin. So I would have had to put, a couple thousand, into the market in order to get that half a coin and purchase one of these V coins. So I was kind of like on the fence because I was like, all right, do I hold on to the little bit of coins that I have because, who knows what Ethereum is going to be, or in the future as it relates to a price, or do I invest in these VFriends, understanding and knowing that I knew that there was an upside to it. What that upside was, I didn't know it. I didn't know, how to compare between the upside of just Ethereum within itself or the upside of VFriends. So today, or not today, but a couple of days ago, December 16, 2021, that half of ETH VFriend is now worth 9.9 ETH, right? And ETH is trading, somewhere between 3,400 and 3,600. So sorry to say, I did not invest in the NFT with Gary V. Had I would have turned $2,000 into $3,500. But I don't have any regrets, right? And in investing, like, it's the game that you play. Like, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but you got to be in the market in order to ever win. I still have Ethereum, and I've been, kind of investing and loading up on Ethereum.
You said $3,500. You meant $35,000.
Yeah, $35,000. So I could have turned $2,000 into $35,000. But that's just an example. This is kind of like the wild, wild west, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities on the table. I mean, I'm still gaining, assets from the ETH that I currently have, and I think at that time, like I said, it's dipped down to, like, within the last couple months, it had dipped down to maybe like 1,800 a coin. I kind of went in heavy at that point in time. Now it's at 3,400, 3,500 a coin. So this is a long game, you know. Individuals are talking about Ethereum at some point in time, you know, having numbers like Bitcoin, you know. So if that in my couple of coins or my few coins that I have turn into, you know, 50,000, you know, dollars a coin, then I'm winning. I'm in the game. Yep. So this is the V friends, and this, you know, it's just kind of chart, kind of showing what the price of Ethereum was at that time. You know, kind of like middle of May. Ripple. Funny story with Ripple, right? So Mac touched on this organization that we started called Influence Detroit, which is business, you know, political folks, judges, attorneys, entrepreneurs, just kind of getting together and exchanging ideas and coming together to support each other. So this was probably about 3 or 4 years ago when we started talking about XRP. And this was like kind of like a side conversation that myself and Mac, you know, had, you know, because we, you know, have these exchanges and had these conversations about what's happening in technology and what's going on in the market. So we went to this meeting and we were having a discussion about XRP. And one of the members is a judge, right? A young guy, you know, probably he's in his 30s. He's a judge, really straight laced, you know, kind of guy. And as we were talking about XRP, he was like, yeah, I got some XRP. And everybody stopped and we looked at each other and we were like, what? He's like, yeah, you know, I've been, you know, in it, checking it out. And it was crazy because that kind of validated one, you know, our idea to bring this to the table. But at the same time, like, you never know what people are doing until you have that conversation. And never in 1,000 years will we be thinking that, you know, this straight-laced judge was actually investing in cryptocurrency. So I think at that time, Ripple was trading at about 24, 25 cents. Since that time, you know, it peaked like in May 2020. I actually got up to about $3 at some point in time. It was in May. It might have been before May, but it, you know, within the last couple of years, it's peaked, you know, at like $3 a coin. So, you know, individuals that were, you know, if you were kind of doing the trading thing and you invested in it at that point in time, you had 25 cents, you could have sold, you know, for 30 cents. I mean, for $3. But I think, as I said, from an investment strategy, you know, we bought in at 25 cents, and it's our plan to hold on to it because as we talked about from an international, you know, money moving, we think that, you know, this is something that will be a part of the banking system. So it's just like with everything. It's kind of like a wait and see game. You know, for those individuals that invested in Bitcoin, you know, 3 or 4, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, you know, Bitcoin was trading under $1,000. Even in its infancy, in its first, you know, couple of years, it was probably if it was even 10 cents. You know, I think it took, you know, 2 or 3 years in order for it to get to $1. But had you invested in it at that point in time and sat on it, which is, you know, the hard part, because you know, all of the cryptocurrency, you know, ebbs and flows. But had you, you know, invested when it was $1 and it's $50,000, like, you know, I don't have to tell you what your program would be right about now. Now, HNT, which is the coin on the Helium blockchain, and this is a very interesting coin. So Helium, as I said, it's all about the Internet of Things, but they have these miners. You have in which, like I said, you become like a coverage area for a specific geographic area. But with HNT, these miners that they run, you know, somewhere between 400 and 600 bucks, they're hard to get. So they're back ordered. You know, it takes, you know, 4 to 5 months in order for one to get to you. When we first talked about Bitcoin, it was a conversation at myself, I mean, not Bitcoin, but HNT, which is helium. We were like, you know, me and Mac were having a conversation. He was like, yo, my boy B, Brian, you'll hear from him later. He's talking about helium. We're going to start mining helium. And I was like, all right, you know, well, tell me about it, you know? So he kind of told me about it, and I was like, okay, this, you know, this thing kind of makes sense. I did my own research. So I probably did a good 20 hours of research in a short window, like 30 days. Like I read everything there was out on the web. I looked at videos. I watched individuals having discussions about it. And at the time frame, I think it was early in this year, it's probably like March, helium was trading, H&T was trading about like somewhere between $7 and $9, right? So at that point in time, we decided to invest in it, and we I bought, you know, a few miners. Like I said, at that time it was $7 or $9, somewhere between $7 and $9. The problem is I had to wait 4 to 6 months in order for this miner to come. So during that time frame that I was waiting on it, it was just steadily moving, right? And things were happening. So this right here is a coverage, and it's an open source. So this is a coverage map of helium in the city of Detroit. At the time, there were 20,000 hotspots, and this is worldwide, right? So there are 20,000 hotspots. So this is super new. Everything is open source, so you can kind of, you know, if you went to, you know, helium.com or heliumcoveragement.com, you would be able to look at the miner, look at that miner, see, you know, how much it was mining in the last, you know, 24 hours, 14 hours, 30 days, kind of like how many, you know, miners an individual has. But when we first started, there was none of these. Each one of these blocks is coverage, meaning that there's a miner in that area. When we first looked at this, there were like no miners in Detroit. So this screen was like blank. It was a few in Dearborn. It was maybe 1 or 2 in Southwest Detroit. That was the extent of it. Since that time, miners have popped up all over, you know, downtown Detroit, which is right here. And this is kind of like Northwest Detroit. So it's gained in popularity. And like I said, there were 20,000 hotspots worldwide. And as we're waiting for you know, our hotspots to be delivered, like this number is just steadily going up. So folks are out here purchasing hotspots, and you know, they're coming in. So right now they're at 180,000 hotspots. At that point in time, like I said, the market price of helium was about $8 or $9. Now, one helium is somewhere in a range of $20 a coin, H&T. So that's an example. So me being a real estate guy, of course, I got to throw some real estate stuff in here. So as we kind of compare and contrast timing, you know, Brandon touched on that. Market is all about timing. So this property right here is something that I pulled up. I've been real estate investing, you know, heavily in this area, which is the area of West Chicago, Evergreen. This house right now is on the market for $89,000, right? In 2012, a couple doors down, I purchased a similar property for $6,000, and it cost me, you know, $10,000 to rehab it. Rents over there go for $800 to $900 a month, and then of course you see like kind of like the low expenses as it relates for insurance and taxes. But the point of this, as we talk about timing, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's real estate investment, it's all about timing. So this $6,000 house that I purchased is worth $90,000 now. Like I said, roughly rents $750, $850. In 2015, Ethereum was worth 90 cents. In 2021, today it's worth $3,000. So the question becomes, what's the future? And from an investment perspective, I think when you're investing, right, you need to be understanding that all investing is a risk, right? So don't use your rent money, don't use your mortgage money, don't use your car note money. But if you have, excess money and you want to invest in something, we don't know what this future is going to hold, but I can tell you that we're pretty confident from a use case that Ethereum is going to be here, for quite some time. And any investment that you make today, just like the conversations with individuals that invested in Bitcoin years ago when Bitcoin was $3,000, which folks thought was a lot of money at the time. Now they're kind of kicking themselves in the ass, and because Bitcoin is, like I said, $45,000 to $52,000. So from a comparison of where you invest your money and how much it costs to invest your money, the entrance level and being able to get into cryptocurrency is way better at the time than real estate. This is a cash heavy, like we're in the area. Actually, I should say probably 2019. So upside down 9. Sorry about that. 2021. So 2021, this property is $89,000. In 2012, it was $6,000. From an investment perspective, timing was fantastic. It was right after the market crashed. Opportunities were plentiful. Today, real estate opportunities aren't as plentiful. It takes a lot of money to kind of get into the game. The new market is the crypto market. So we advise everybody to, if you got some spare change, put a couple dollars into something, but do your research and figure out, or talk, as well as having conversations with individuals. You have some fantastic individuals on the panel today. I'm sure that you have individuals in your circle that are in the space of cryptocurrency. Have conversations with them to find out what they're doing and what they're investing in, so that you can kind of get an idea of what direction that you should go, and then do your own research. Do some research and kind of see what people are talking about. And then from there, I think that you'll be pretty good. You'll be pretty good at doing what you're doing. So if we have any questions, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to, have a conversation and talk about my passion right now, which is cryptocurrency. So I'm going through the chat right now, and Clifford asks, can NFTs be considered an asset class? I think it's too early right now, so I definitely wouldn't say that NFTs are an asset class, and I don't know if they will become an asset class because they're just a utility on a blockchain, and which probably would fall into the cryptocurrency asset class. All right, this is next question. I have a new Coinbase and Robinhood. Where do I start? I will listen to the recording. Thank you all again. I have to leave now. Okay. So again, I could just tell you what I'm doing. I can't give financial advice. I can give real estate advice. I am licensed to do that. But like I said, I think right now, bets, kind of getting into the game. I think Ethereum is a fantastic play because I think there's a lot of upside to it. So I think that's a place to start. And the next thing that you would want to do is you would want to start to have conversations with individuals that are currently investing, just to see where they're going, know what your risk tolerance is, and kind of invest from there.